I didn't know exactly how to start off this video, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. So basically, this is more of a more personal video. Some of you are akin to more of these personal videos. I started doing these a while ago, bringing it back. Somebody requested it on my social media. I'll link my social media below. But this video I want to talk about more what I've been doing for the last 6 to 8 months, give or take. I took some time to move away and kind of venture more into some of the things I want to do and some of the things I've been meaning to do, get more involved, then try to kind of venture out and do different things. That was a whole adventure. I think I made a video about it, about living in the woods. I'll try to put an annotation or something somewhere so somebody can see that. But yeah, I was living in the woods because of that job, and it was a whole thing. I still got much more to talk about regarding that, but I want to hold off on it because it is, I don't know exactly how to structure it. It's real hard to do that nowadays. It's not like how it used to be. So many things, and so many things I pay attention to. Plus I was studying at the time too. I was reading a lot of books on African American history, especially during a certain time period. So it was things I was doing outside of work too. Plus I was dealing with limited access to internet, so it was hard to kind of do certain things. So it wasn't the easiest thing to do, but I made the best of it. One structure, I didn't go over one particular book per video. I think I did a few. I remember I went over Monster, the autobiography of an LA gangbanger. That was a great book. It's very misrepresented in the media. I wish I did a lot of research regarding him as a person, plus his family members, because it all plays a part into his whole story. I didn't get to touch on that, and I felt like it wasn't really my place, because it's not, I feel like his legacy is pretty much solidified. I feel like he did what he wanted to do with the book. I recommend a video by Kev Mac Videos. You can see a more recent video of Monster Kody before he unfortunately passed away not too long ago. I don't know exactly when, but it was in recent years. He has been, confirmed to be passed away. I don't know from what. I'm not really too concerned with it. I'm just hoping he passed away in peace. Man, he had a lot of different things in his life that contribute to why he turned out the way he did. It was very interesting seeing that, and also interesting seeing how the media portrayed him, how different prosecutors and different people in law saw him on a textbook definition sense.
It just couldn't come fast enough because there were too many other children that were having the same kind of problem, parents having the same kind of problem, and there were too many people ahead of my little guy. And as time was moving on, he was moving on. So there was just no help.
Mother, your biological father is
absent.
An
Missing in action.
An NFL football player.
But yeah, I hear you.
Your godfather's Ray Charles.
Yeah, but while my mother's at work being a working class woman, while my father was on the football field, while Ray was in the recording studio, I was in the street. You know what I mean? I was being influenced by social forces that they couldn't even touch, couldn't even understand. And my mother couldn't protect me from that. Ray couldn't come get me all the time. And Dick never came. But, you know what I mean? So,
do you resent that?
To a great extent, no doubt about it. I hate him. You know what I mean? I hate him because I think about what I could have been, and I can't dig that, man. You're running out of your kids, father thing, man. But that's just heavy to me now, This is heavy.
Would it have made a difference, do you think?
Yeah, because I wouldn't have to go to the street to find the street people, you know? To find, you know, people in the street, you know?
He says he's put that life behind him. He's adopted the African name Senika Shakur, unifier of people, and now, through his writing, wants to help put an end to gang violence.
I like the pen better than the weapon, actually, now, because I know I can reach more people. And I'm not into destruction for destruction's sake.
Not everyone buys it. Certainly not Bambi Moyer, the prosecutor in Riverside County, California, who last put Monster away.
How would you describe Kody Scott?
I would almost say that he is chameleon-like because of the fact that when he was in court, he was extremely calm, extremely respectful. He's a bright guy. He is not dumb, extremely intelligent, and I think extremely entrenched in the gang lifestyle. That is his life.
A hardcore killer.
Mm-hmm. I think Kody Scott would kill you just as soon as he would shake your hand.
One of the prosecutors who put you here told us that you were the perfect sociopath. Somebody who was able to use their brains and their charm to manipulate people in society.
Sounds like Robert Dole, doesn't it? Sociopath. That's heavy. No, I don't think so. I'm a regular cat. You know what I mean? I'm a regular person.
You're not a regular person to most people. You shot people, you killed people.
I've had an eventful life.
Do you feel any respect to, allegiance for the city of Los Angeles, the state of California?
Looking at his crimes, you know, by definition, instead of looking at him as a person and kind of figuring out why he did these things and why he even came to be. And I feel like that's a real big issue with a lot of things in society. We don't look at this. We don't look at the actual origin of a lot of these issues. We always look at the symptoms, and it's kind of just this lock and key, throw it away type mentality when it comes to a lot of problems. But I feel like it's changing slowly, but we still have a lot of work to do when it comes to, you know, society as a whole. But I was researching more theology too. I haven't touched on that because there's I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to speak on that when it comes to video wise, because there's so many different things that go into organized religions, and when you're dealing with grassroots spirituality when it comes to certain cultures and how you have to go over the background of the culture, because it's tied directly into how the religion is, or the spirituality, you know, the spiritual belief basis system, if there is a system, if something is passed down orally, it's not passed down through books, so there's a lot of hearsay and interpretation instead of a lot of you know, exactly what it means. So it's not easy. I didn't want to tackle that issue, to be honest with you. I just did it. It was interesting. I learned a lot. I even had my own spiritual thing that happened to me, and that was insane. But if you look at the concept of religion and spirituality, it's a very individual thing. You have to, you know, really be in tune with yourself, and you have to do a lot of, I guess you can call it soul searching, or, you know, coming to terms with things. It was a journey. I enjoyed it. It was not an easy journey. It had some painful moments, had some uneasy moments, but I pressed along through that, and I feel like I'm still going through it, but I got through the most turbulent aspects of it, and I learned a lot, and I'm still learning as I go along with it. So I encourage everybody to, you know, if you have any questions about religion or concepts regarding God, you know, hell, Satan, things of that nature, just dive right into it. Just keep researching until you get to a certain point where you're satisfied or you have answered your question. That's the best way I can say that. That's how I tackle research. That's how I research things. I I do write down things, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the concept. I freestyle a lot of my videos in the past. I kind of just turned on the mic, turned on the camera, and just talked. I have recently been doing scripts. I kind of having something to kind of refer to as I'm doing videos. So it's semi kind of off the top, not so much. With the Sam Lee book, that really, I had to write a script for that. I didn't read it verbatim. I read some of it verbatim, but not all of it. I'm not really satisfied with the video. I didn't want to make it an hour and 30 minutes long, even though it deserved that. I just didn't want to do that because it would have been so complicated because of how, I don't know. I didn't want to just focus on one thing about the book. I wanted to get a full scope of not just the book, but the concepts regarding the book. And that is hard to do because you have to deal with very sensitive subjects along with tackling racism as a whole. And that's a can that I've kind of dipped my foot into with 530, and I was like, what? And then I made another video shortly after that because the police showed up, and then that got like 300 something views. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave this topic alone for right now. So I did talk about racism a little bit in the book review, but not so much. I didn't really focus on it. I give the history behind it regarding the book and then how it ties into today's politics, because in the later half of the book it deals with police brutality, organized guerrilla warfare, and that's why he was targeted by the FBI, because it lists different tactics. It's not a book, it's not a textbook, this is how you do revolution. It's not like that. But there are certain aspects of that book. If the wrong person reads or gets inspired by it, they could take it in the wrong thing. But that can be done with any type of media, especially when you're dealing with adult things such as a very rich, I don't want to say controversy, but it is controversial, I guess you could say that, to talk about revolution regarding, the government, how it's running things, and the people, quote unquote, when I'm using air quotes, is all. I do not endorse any of this. I don't want nobody coming after me. I don't endorse any of this, but when you talk about revolution and people rising up against their oppressors and taking over and, quote unquote, killing people, it becomes very extreme and people start getting uneasy. But maybe that was the point. If you look at his interviews, I think I put a clip in there. I put a clip in the book review where it talks about kind of why he wrote the book.
A long time thinking about doing it. Okay, I came back to the States for a brief time during the summer of 1965, and that's when the Watson Rebellion jumped off. And I knew this was just the first of a number to follow. And I was offered a job as a roving street gang worker. And I knew that because of my military background, I could do what I wrote about. And after having thought about it for a long time, I decided that my skills as a propagandist exceeded my military skills. So I decided to write it so the people I knew would do it right. Now, because it was published so late, a lot of people assumed that I was writing out the headline. In effect, I was anticipating and prophesying what was going down. And it had been published in '67. A lot of black people might still be alive now.
So yeah, I was doing that. I still got some other books I'm currently reading a book on Bobby Seale. It was a very hard book to find. Had to do a lot of searching, had to really, crack my knuckles and get down to business when it came to that book. But I'm having a great time with the book. I think a lot of people enjoy this book because of how he wrote it. It wasn't written in a very stylish way. It was written more in a quote unquote more simple way. Most people can understand this book. I feel like the average person can read this book and not be tripped up at any words or anything. compared to Revolutionary Suicide with Huey P. Newton, that book was very, especially towards the end, dealing with his legal cases. It got very bogged down. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was not enjoyable. I kind of slugged through those chapters because I was sitting there kind of waiting to hear more about, I don't know, because he touched on kind of how he felt about Eldridge Cleaver, how he felt about other chapters of the Black Panther organization, how it was spreading, how it was going, how different ideology, and there was infighting, and at some point he was just done. So, and then it, you know, and if you look at kind of my inside look on what was his personal life like, it was not at all what we think it was. He was not this knight in shining armor. He was a very complicated person, just to say the least, and he had a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, so what was it? Tell us a little bit about Huey, and what was it in Huey that made him continue?
What I never asked.
Yeah, what type of person was he?
He was a complex guy. He was
Yeah.
yeah, he was a lot of things. You know, first of all, the very first time I saw him was when he was released in person. I too had that problem. He was brilliant, as both of these men were. He was brilliant. But he also had the ability to relate to people on all levels. If he was on a street corner, he was just as credible and just as relatable, and not that related to the folks on that street corner as he did in an academic setting. So he had the like you said early on, that he gave people the courage, because he was so courageous. He gave them permission, or almost, that they could do this too.
Mhm.
I don't know, honestly, I don't know what kept him going, other than he never questioned it.
That kind of, I don't know how to put it. He was inspired by his father, first of all, when it came to how standing up to, you know, powers that be, and not being afraid to stand up for what you believe in. That came from his parents. He was influenced by Malcolm X and other people, but when it came to the person that directly influenced him, if you read his book, it talks about his father, how his family, how they moved from, you know, Louisiana. And then a lot of people were moving. Even Bobby Seale, reading his book, he moved from, he stayed in Texas, and then he moved, and then he had different adventures in different places. It's very, even in, man, I can keep going when it comes to different, I want to touch into probably in the later parts of the year, if I get around to it. I'm going to touch on more, aspects of Black literature people probably don't know about, or you would have to probably take a college course, but I'm gonna try to break it down to where people can understand it, and then I'm gonna see how they react to it. It's gonna be things people probably haven't heard of. People it's gonna be individuals, Black individuals, that people probably haven't heard of. I'm tripping over my words. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. I've kind of dipped my toe into it, and I'm really excited. I've saw some other Black creators and how they do their videos, and shout out to Black women, because a lot of them are Black women, and I don't know how they organize hours and hours of information into digestible, enjoyable videos, but somehow they do that. A lot of Black men creators too. I don't watch a lot of Black male creators, especially podcasts. This is a revolutionary podcast. Shout out to them. Shout out to FD Signifier. Shout out to T1J. There's a lot of other people I'm probably forgetting right now, but man, I think ToonrificTariq. I don't know if I said his name right, but he makes videos regarding like cartoons and stuff, and kind of the early 2000s and 2010s cartoons.
It's gonna take time for people people to get used to it. If they ever get used to it. Well, get ready, because it's going to happen. And when it does, people like you and me are going to be the best of friends. Although the SAT will still be culturally biased in your favor, but it'll be better than it is now.
Come to think of it, the Proud Family was mad progressive. Remember when Penny played football? Yo, put my fucking grandbaby in the game, yo. To counter this, Aaron McGruder's The Boondocks ran on the narrative of black people do this, black people allow that, since the entire series serves as a critique on what's thought to be black culture. If any of these shows help deconstruct the whole black people are all a certain way narrative, it was this show, and it was because it was a literal mirror. The Boondocks geniusly was able to be a love letter to black culture, but also a critique on every single toxic element in said culture. It's a shame that a lot of people didn't even really catch on until much later, or wrongfully interpret what it means. Aaron McGruder did not want Oprah to be president. Do y'all not even understand the context of this fucking ending? Behaviors like we don't snitch in black culture, we don't show love for too long, we take advantage of one another, self-hate. Ew, what? Nigga, we ain't gay.
I just wanted to talk to him, basically, you know. He was talking all that suck my dick shit. I wanted to come to his face and actually show him how we suck dick, you know what I mean? And he didn't want to step to me like a man, so I know.
We blindly support one another without context.
In movies, kind of nostalgia-based content, but he puts a spin on it because he gets from a black perspective when it comes to media. I feel like this really, a lot of people don't represent that. A lot of people talk about cartoons, they don't talk about it from a black aspect, and also hood cinema. I forgot the actual name of it, but it's Hood Cinema or something. Oh, Prim's Hood Cinema. There we go. I remember. Yeah, sent out to him too. He breaks down a lot of black, classic black movies. Makes me revisit a lot of these movies, even though I still remember a lot of them. You know, those are always enjoyable to just have like a short recap and remember certain parts that was funny, and how he does touch on different themes too. He does put he does try to have people have, give the message and try to think about different things.
And basically the cops bitch him and threaten to kill him and shit. It's sad hood movie. Trey goes to see his girl after the encounter and breaks down, and I'm not gonna make fun of this scene. It's actually a pretty powerful scene. It encapsulates that hood rage so perfectly. There's so many different factors that get in your way or hold you back in the hood that people from traditional homes just really don't quite understand, and that's where this movie is important. Like, that rage and frustration is inside of everybody stuck in the hood. It's what turns kids into doughboys, you know? Or into doughboys' moms, where you just don't give a fuck and you get complacent. Anyway, it's fine. Trey's girl finally let him beat. He's not sad anymore.
So no matter what career you choose, you'll really be ready to take off.
Man, just fuck all that shit, right? I'm going to the fucking army.
Man, what they don't tell you is that you don't belong to you no more. Man, my daddy told me a black man has got no business, no place in the white man's army.
Yeah, I heard all that before, right?
Yeah, this nigga Furious Styles be dropping knowledge. He may be a dirty ass, bathroom ass.
But stink ass, but afro head.
He's doing way more for his kid than most parents, especially Doughboy and Ricky's mom. That bitch hella ratchet. She not even on drugs or nothing. She just really apathetic to the whole situation. Anyway, Ricky and Trey go to the store and run into the niggas from the car show. Ice Cube and the gang see the car speeding down the street and they spring into action.
All right, wait a minute, man. Let's split up.
So yeah, it's a lot of, I'm really enjoying, the growing black YouTube, whatever you want to call it. It's great. But other than that, in my personal life, a lot of things are happening. I'm not going to speak on it right now, because I'm currently going through it, but in the future, I'll touch on it. Yeah, that's really it. I'm not going to make this video too long. In fact, I think this is going on 15 minutes, 16 minutes. I'm not going to stop it around here. I want to thank y'all for tuning in and listening to me and my antics and whatnot. Thank you for following me on this journey so far. It's been insane. I'm wearing this bonnet because my hair is big right now. That's the best way I can say it. I need a retwist, but we just gonna keep going. I got these giant Bob Marley dreads going on. I don't know what to do. Some of them have fused together. I have like twin giant, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. I would have to like take this off and like move somewhere else. I got a lot going on. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some rest.